radio.com. Call the studio at 572-9710 or WhatsApp 287-0971. Or Rev Up office numbers are 572-0383 and 572-0215. Rev Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Join the United Workers' Party this and every Thursday on Rev Up St. Lucia 97.1 FM for an educational and informative program, Meet the Opposition. Participate in exciting discussions from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Be in the know every Thursday on Rev Up St. Lucia 97.1 from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.
It's now time for another Meet the Opposition. As we say, a hearty welcome back to the host of the show, Miss Nancy Charles. Miss Charles, a very good morning to you.
Welcome morning, back. Good morning, Andre. Andre, I was told that you were crying during the time that I was away.
I wasn't crying.
I'm so happy.
I wasn't crying, I was bawling.
So I'm so happy that you're not bawling. Dry your tears, Andre. I'm back, and let me say thank you so much to everyone. Andre, I got a lot of calls. I got a lot of text messages. I got a lot of WhatsApp messages. Persons were asking me, where are you? Are you okay? What's going on?
Yeah, did you leave the show?
And yes, did I leave the show? So I want to say thank you so much to everyone who called and messaged. Thank you for your love, your support, your concern. But I did have to explain to them that when I left, actually I realized it's over a month, Andre. I think I left in June. I went to Jamaica for my daughter's graduation. And then when I came back, we had the storm. And then my other daughter came home from Taiwan from vacation. She was here for just about 3.5 weeks, almost 4 weeks. And so I begged of the team to allow me a little time because I had not seen her in 3 years.
Wow.
I begged the team a little time to spend with my girls, just to ensure we had some quality time together, getting to know them all over again. Because they're now all grown up.
Do they listen to you? Do they listen?
I am very grateful for that. Yes, they still do. They still have very strong opinions from the time they were little ones growing up. They're just like their mother, Andre. But they do listen to me. They do solicit my advice. And when I say don't, they have a little bit of a resistance, but they don't as well.
When I say listen, I'm talking about this show.
Oh, yes, they do. My daughter in Taiwan, because of the time zone, she probably sometimes does not stay on all the time, but she listens and sometimes she goes on afterwards. The one in Jamaica has no interest in politics.
She's smart.
She's the smart one, I think. But my son also listens as well. So the children do listen. In fact, they've always been very supportive because we grew up in this political household. So they've always been so supportive. They attended rallies when we had rallies during election campaigns and so forth. So they've always been involved. Yes.
So do you all get into like heated, not arguments, but debates
We
and
do
so
get
on?
into heated debates.
Yeah.
Actually, we get into heated debates about both local events and international events. And I think one of the things I do appreciate is the youth perspective, that they don't always see things my way. So sometimes they say to me, Mommy, you always there with that politics thing, but look at it this way and that way, So we do have those type of discussions at home, or even when I call my daughter. Since she's away, when I call them and we have certain discussions, they'll tell me, Mommy, did you see that? And they'll share with me the TikTok videos, because although I have TikTok, I'm not on it often. So they share with me TikTok videos and Instagram videos and stuff, the memes, etc., because they see it all the time.
Any memes of you?
Not yet. but there was this one on, is it the TikTok or Instagram, the one that I had in Parliament, when I spoke about the housing project that they had in Denver and the 2 little houses, etc. My daughter loved this. She sent this to me. In fact, I did not even see it. She was the one who sent it to me first. Sometime, I think it was late last year when I was in Parliament. And she said to me, "Mommy, you trending. All my friends love you."
Hey, you trending.
So,
By the way, do you have any followers?
I do. I have a lot of followers. Yes,
Really?
man. I do. But it was nice. It was nice spending time with the family. We went liming. We went out. We did sky ride. We went to Sufre. So it was good. I am very, I'm relaxed. I do want to say thank you so much to my teammates and my colleagues, Spider and Dominic Fede. They did a phenomenal job while I was away. I did follow them as well, as many times as I could. Sometimes I couldn't listen to all of it. Sometimes I went back to listen to the tape. But I want to say thank you so much to them. Andre, I have to say to you, UWP is never short of a man or a woman,
I noticed.
We always have
I noticed.
we always have somebody to fill in the gap. And thank you so much to our friends in the diaspora and those of you who are here in St. Lucia who continue to listen. They message me every Thursday. Are we on this Thursday? Is there a show this Thursday? And so forth. Thank you so much for continuing to listen to Meet the Opposition. And to my Creole audience, Andre, I have a lot of Creole followers. Bonjour, toute maman Saint Lucie, tout gens qui racontent moi côté où est Saint Lucie, peut-être ou Soisey, peut-être ou Angoisse ou Vieux-Fort, ou Gozile ou Babono, n'importe côté où est Soufouye, Jean Soufouye, moi de toi ti Jean mi Kouti Rocher, yo toujours à côté moi vle do bonjour, moi vle do merci pour la pour yo, merci pour support, merci ça qui te concerné, comment si moi t'es malade. Moi vle do merci pour tout ça. Eh bien, moi là, moi vie un chay bay ka fait, un chay bay ha fait Andrea, chay bay ka fait cette lycée avec nous, un chay bay pour parler about. But merci and thank you so much. So thank you for that song that you played as well, Andre.
It was all for you.
Yes, I know. I realize that. So to begin our program this morning, I always have a word of encouragement. And as I was talking about my girls, Andre, I thought perhaps maybe my encouragement would be along that line. My children grew up in a Christian household, and I prayed every single day, for those kids from the time they were babies until now that they are adults. And I was reminiscing on the words, of the Bible that says, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it says, Paul planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. And as I, look back at my children, all of them, I thought at one point in time maybe I should pat myself on the back for doing a good job, and I said, oh no. Because when you look at it and when you look at the scripture, is the investments that different people made or make in the lives of your children. It wasn't all me. It wasn't all my husband. There was the family structure. There was the church structure. There was the community structure. There was the school structure. But most importantly, Andre, there was God. And my encouragement to you this morning, your children, the Bible says, they are a heritage from the Lord. I want to encourage you this morning, do not give up on your children, no matter what. I'll share with you briefly this morning that one of my sons, some of those of you who know him, he was a little bit of a troublemaker from a little boy growing up. From primary school, I always had to be in the school giving trouble, always fighting. He went to secondary school. Oh my God, I was the parent of the year in that secondary school because I knew the type of child he was. I was always at the school and I was praying and I was saying, oh Lord, what will I do with that child? Oh dear, don't let that child get in trouble and break the law and things like that. So I was always there, always trying my best. And one day I stayed there and I said, but I can't do this anymore. It can't be me. And I left him and I said, God, you take full control of that child and you do what you had to do. And the moment I stopped, Andre, and I allowed God to take over, I can say to you, that's my best child now. Best child now. The child just transformed and changed and grew up and matured and everything that you can think about. And I'm not saying that to say that you should just give up on your children. Don't try anything and just pray alone. Of course, there has to be the encouragement and the work, etc. But my encouragement to you this morning, as we see what's happening in our society, as we see what's happening with our young children, our young girls, our young boys, even the young girls are now worse than the boys, Andre. Because when I go around and I listen to the talks of some of the criminality that is happening, a lot of young women are the ones who are facilitating, encouraging, situating, and all these kind of things. So don't think that our girls are exempt, St. Lucia. I want to say to you to please, those of you who believe in prayer, those of you who believe in God, seek the face of God so that he can give you the wisdom as to how to teach, to train, to help, to do whatever it is that you need to do to lead your children in the right direction. And remember the words that you can only do so much, and that's why the Bible says Paul planted, one person planted, another person took care of it and harvested, but it was God and only God who gave the increase. I can say to you that it is God and only God, with your encouragement, with your words, with your support, with whatever it is that you do, you try to help them. When you do that and you leave the rest in the hands of God, God is the one who's going to turn the hearts of these children around. God is going to be the one who's going to help them. So please don't give up on them. Continue to pray. And the prayer don't have to be long, you know. When you wake up in the morning, just say, Mon Dieu, moi mette ma main à l'amour. And that's it. Can be just as simple as that. Before you go to bed, bon Dieu, moi oui merci pour ma main, bon Dieu béni ma main, bon Dieu protecte ma main. Just simple words of prayer as you go along throughout the day to pray to get that level of encouragement and encourage yourself, believing that God is going to make the difference in the lives of your children. That's my encouragement to you this morning.
Oh, thank you, Nancy, for going down that road, for making yourself vulnerable this morning, because generally people look at you, maybe me, others, and think as though, you know, we got it made out, or, you know, everything is just down pat and we're having a great time, family is great, no problem. But we have a lot of challenges. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I'm sure it was an encouragement for a lot of people who are going for exactly what you described.
And that is one of the things as well, Andre, that I love sometimes when I am given an opportunity to do, is to share with people the realities of life. Everything is not perfect. Nobody's life, nobody's family is perfect. You understand? Mm-hmm. And many times your children, or even your husband or family, spouse, whatever it is, there are certain situations and circumstances that come, you know, but what it is about it is that sometimes you put in the time, you put in the effort, you work it out, and you in your privacy, sometimes you feel like you're alone. But I want to say to you, St. Lucia, that you are not alone. There are so many. I mean, when I see certain things happening, I say, Jesus, thank you so much, God, because that could have been my son. That could have been my daughter. You understand? And it is only because of the grace of God. I can certainly tell you that. It's not because of me. It's not because of anybody. It's because of the grace of God. But combined with that, it's because of the institutions that are around us, the family structure, the schools, you know, and the different things that are good people in the community, you know. All these people play a part, and they play a role in ensuring, you know, that we can have good communities and good children. So be encouraged this morning, St. Lucia. Don't give up. Don't give up at all. No matter where you see that child is going, don't give up. Still continue to have faith, and God is going to make the difference. All right? So I see on the live a lot of people are saying, yes, I can relate to that. Thank you for transparency. You know, don't give up, etc. So, yeah, man. That's what it's about. So, Andre, in my absence, a lot has happened. Oh, my God. From yesterday, from Tuesday, after we normally have our little team meeting, I kept thinking, oh, my God, what is it I am going to talk about this morning? Because there's so many things that is happening in this country. People are overwhelmed, Andre. St. Lucians are overwhelmed. People don't know what to do. People don't know what to say. Too much. But I can say to you that Julien Alfred has won the gold medal in the 100 meters, and she also won silver in the 200 meters. Andre, I have a daughter, St. Lucia, those of you who know, who's an athlete as well. And she's been in Jamaica for the last 2 years. She's been going to school in Jamaica. We had her to finish high school in Jamaica so she can be part of the track program that they have there. She's done very well. She's participated in one of the biggest sports that Jamaica holds every year, which is called Champs, Island Champs for school kids. She's participated both years. She's won medals. She's done very well. She's represented the school as well overseas. And so forth. So she's up and coming. So I can certainly say to you, I understand how it feels as a mother to have an athlete, after all that hard work and effort, to win a medal. And so we were just watching this thing on Saturday, and my daughter, who's there from Jamaica, she couldn't stop crying. She was just watching and crying and crying and crying and crying. And even on Sunday afternoon, I couldn't wait to leave church. I have to say to you, I was so distracted in church on Sunday. And I was so distracted because I wanted to get home in time to see Julian get her medal and to hear the national anthem of St. Lucia play. So I'm at church, I'm like, okay, just not finishing today. Of course, St. Lucia. Some of y'all do that, right? Y'all want to go home for the food or whatever.
We do. We do. Yes.
So even when I got home on Sunday, as soon as we were already on the way, and my brother was, "Mommy, they started. And my husband drove a little faster, and we got there. And as soon as we got there, she was receiving the medal, and we got to see and hear the national anthem play, and we started crying all over again. But St. Lucia, it was tears of joy. It was tears of happiness. It was tears of being so proud at that moment to be a St. Lucian, to watch St. Lucia and to watch Julien, win Olympic gold, and then during the week to also win Olympic silver. It's phenomenal. And I think for me, it was an experience for me to say, oh, she was able, in that moment, you had all the watch parties happening, Andre, all over. She was able to bring the nation together in that one space for a moment to forget about the political divide. Because the politics stays and it will be there forever. It never goes away. But at least for that moment, for us to share in that experience and be one St. Lucia. Be one St. Lucian. Be patriotic and be together in that space and reliving that moment and that glory. So I was very proud. But within minutes, Andre, I have to say to you, within minutes, I started getting messages. And I was like, oh my God, this is so disgusting. I think I almost got a headache almost immediately. And why do I say that? Because almost immediately, we're sharing in that glory and everybody's posting their Julien pictures and their St. Lucia flags, etc. And there goes my best friend, Richard Frederick, on his Facebook page, the host of Can I Help You? And then he makes this post and say, that is the difference, United Workers' Party took her stipend and we invested $250,000 and that's what you have. And I'm going to talk all about it on my show. And I thought that man is so disgusting. Here we are having this moment as St. Lucia and as St. Lucians. You have an audience, a huge audience at that. And for me, what you should be doing is praising this young girl, coming from the community she comes from, the hard work, the effort, the sacrifices that she made. She made, Andre. And to achieve that, for you to praise her and to glorify her and to say thank you to her, and that is what you're going to post with that audience. Shameful, shameful, shameful people who cannot for one moment, Andre, allow the country to just revel and bask in the glory of our achievements, and they have to put some dirty, stinking, nasty politics into the play. And I say that, St. Lucia, because for me it was really, really disgusting. But not only that, I think if it wasn't the same Saturday, maybe the next day, the Sunday, the Labour Party had some youth conference and they were selecting the youth officers or whatever it was. And so, Andre, I want you to play for me a tape of the General Secretary of the Labour Party. I don't know if he's still the General Secretary or past General Secretary, but Mr. Leo Clark. And he made some comments and he made some statements. And I want St. Lucia, those of you who didn't hear it, Supat Etani, Exiso Kwede Le, Messieurs, cette ici, c'est pas tout le, tout bas, c'est politics. Moi, vle di ça. Moi, en politics, moi, c'est un membre United Workers Party. Mais là, c'est pas tout bagay qui a fait qui ni Saint-Lucie n'a mette politique en dedans. Because moi, c'est un Saint-Lucien avant, moi, c'est un membre United Workers Party. Moi, fait Saint-Lucie, et après, bon Dieu, n'a mort Saint-Lucie. Bon, yo moi te Saint-Lucie, qu'on se gwan moun akadi, tout ça, moi, c'est Saint-Lucie. So, moi, pas qu'à mette politique avant Saint-Lucie. Et que moi vle nous tout comprendre ça là ni on lè nous ni pour métier politics là aside et pour nous dire qu'on moi c'est un Saint-Lucien avant. And so if we thought perhaps it was just maybe the mindset of Richard Frederick, I want to say to you, St. Lucia, it's the mindset of the Labour Party. It's the mindset of the Labour Party. You understand? Tout ça yo ka fait politics. I don't know if you heard a tape, Andre. I heard the tape of Shelton Daniel, who's hosting a show and saying that he's not apologetic and he's not unbiased. He's biased towards the Labour Party, and if there is a disease being a Labour, he has an incurable disease, and so he's not going to take a side. Everything is Labour for him. And I thought, oh my God, is this coming from somebody who's supposedly, allegedly, supposed to be educated? You host a talk show and you've hosted many shows. You need to be able to say to St. Lucia, I'm a supporter of the Labour Party. I support the Labour Party, but when they do wrong, I'll say they do wrong. When something is going right, I'll say it's right, but when it's wrong, I'll say it's wrong. But when you come out and you say that you are unapologetic and that you have an incurable Labour Party disease, etc., etc., these people are sick, Andre, sick. Andre, my Jelisa. I am a supporter and a member of the United Workers Party. I have been all my life. For now, I can say to you, I don't see how I can be a supporter of any other party. But in life, you never say never because things happen. You understand? But I will never say to the St. Lucian public that if something is wrong, that I will say that because I'm UWP, I'm supporting it. It's wrong and it's wrong. And that is the stance that we have to take as St. Lucians and as politicians as well, because we have to show St. Lucians that we're not all perfect and we do make mistakes. Our political organizations make mistakes. Our governments make mistakes. We need to acknowledge it, learn how to fix it, and move on. So, St. Lucia, I want you to listen to this tape of Mr. Leo Clark, who's the General Secretary of the St. Lucia Labour Party. And let's hear what
it's been done by a government. We must avoid being simplistic about it and only measure the value of good government in terms of whether you have personally benefited. You must look at the deeper interest that good government serves, that the substance of good governance resides in the Labour Party. And the Labour Party, the longer it stays in government, the better this country will be. The more Julien Alfreds that the country will produce, just as we produce Darren Sammy. That's a Labour Party product also. I'm not saying he's a Labour Party product because he supports the Labour Party or not. I'm not saying Julien is a Labour Party product because she supports the Labour Party. I don't know who they support. And I know that this Labour Party.
So, there you have it. Darren Sammy is a product of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Julien Alfred is a product of the St. Lucia Labour Party. I mean, who else is a product of the St. Lucia Labour Party? I mean, Andre, a product, as I understand it, maybe it is something that you produce from scratch. You prepare, you produce, you package, etc. And you say, this is what I have created. So is Leo Clark saying that Darren Sammy was produced, packaged, prepared, and everything by the St. Lucia Labour Party? And Darren Sammy's success today is as a result of the Labour Party. Is that what he's saying? And sometimes we don't want people like that to get involved in politics. But sometimes people like that have to come out and to say, listen, don't put me in your nonsense and in your papi show. So people like Darren Sami and Julien and all the others need to say, listen, do not put me in your papi show, because whichever government is there, I am a product of St. Lucia. I am proud to be a St. Lucian. And whatever assistance or support any government may have given to me is as a result of the commitment of that government of that country to do that, Andre. Did the Labour Party take money from their pocket and give to Darren Sami to buy bats and balls and pay for his trip and pay for stuff for him? I know Clara Sami is always listening to my show. Clara, okay, dis-moi. Because tu chouka koute ti program moi. Dis-moi, Labour Party qui te pou la han di dan poche yo ki match un check from the St. Lucia Labour Party pou bay Darren, pou voye ay training, pou voye ay di fon kote ek bay, pou li yo klak kado boutan la platform ek di Darren Sami is a product of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Now, why do you think that they say those things, Andre? And again, it is to spew nonsense and garbage and to maybe misinform people, the people who don't know better. You understand? That, oh, Labour Party qui fait ci, Labour Party qui fait ça. Gouvernement c'est li si qui fait. C'est pas Labour Party. Le Labour Party fait un bail, yo ka un bail la ka fait directly from Labour Party. Si Labour Party gain this hamper from the St. Lucia Labour Party, from the bank account of the St. Lucia Labour Party, ek yo get this hamper, Andre, ek yo passe, ek yo distribute, ek yo buy hamper, yo sadi, the Labour Party gave hampers and did this. But if the Ministry of Equity or the Department of Equity purchases hamper and school supplies and backpacks, etc., and they go around and they give to the poor and the needy, you cannot say it's the Labour Party that did it, Andre. It is the government of St. Lucia, because it's my money, your money, and everybody. It's our taxpayers' money that is being used by the SSDF or the Department of Equity to provide those support and services to the people. So these shameful people, you understand? Instead of us having to celebrate today, I didn't want to speak about that, Andre. Honestly, I didn't want to speak about that. But you see, what I've learned from being in opposition and even when we were in government, there were so many lies that the Labour Party spewed. And we were like, oh, but that's ridiculous. Nobody's going to believe that. That don't make no sense. And we never debunked it. We never spoke out against it. And to help people repeat some of that garbage, I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize we're so gullible. So I have to debunk it this morning. And I have to defend it. And I am not politicizing the issue. I want nothing of the United Workers' Party politics to do with what is it that Julien has achieved today. Nothing. All right? Julien won not because of Labour Party or United Workers' Party, not because of Alan Chasney, not because of Sean, not even because of Twatine, who was her coach, or even Coach Flo, etc. Although she's given credits to all those people. Julien won as a result of her determination and all these people who imputed into her life, contributed to that success. But if she herself was not determined, Andre, let me tell you something. My daughter, and that is what Julien would have gone through. The school starts in Jamaica, I think at 7 o'clock. She has to get up at 5 to prepare herself, etc., by 6 o'clock to be picked up because of traffic and everything to be in school. School ends at 2:30. And training begins at 3 o'clock. Training is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Only sometimes they get a break on Sundays. When there's champs, they also train Sunday mornings. But she doesn't have a life. So they train Monday after school ends at 2:30. Training begins at 3 o'clock from 3 to 6. And then when training ends at 6, they have to go. She goes home. And then from home, she now has her assignment because remember, she's doing CAPE and A-level, etc. There's assignments to be done and work to be done, etc. All right? And I want you to understand that If she was at home, when she comes home, she gets a cooked meal because mommy is home, mommy cook for her and wash for her, etc. She's in Jamaica, and I want you to understand, that's what Julien went through, you know. She went to Jamaica, I think about 14 or 15, yeah? And she was all alone, away from her mommy, away from her family, her aunties, and people who would have done that for her. And she was on her own and have to do that kind of thing. All right, these are the type of sacrifices that she had to make to get there. You understand, Andre? Not having a life. You cannot eat what you want. You cannot go where you want. You can't go out to party. You can't go out with your friends. I mean, my daughter hardly knows Jamaica because she hardly had time to go anywhere because every day it's training and preparing, etc. and so forth. And I would assume the same thing with Julien. And when she went to Texas, it would be the same thing. She's at university. She's doing college work. She's training sometimes 2-3 times a day, etc. You can't go out drinking. You can't go out doing all these sacrifices that she had to make herself. And today, for some disgusting politician to stand up on a platform and reproach the child. That is what is happening there, St. Lucia. You can wipo sheti mamaila because you te balioti $150, because you te balioti sneaker, because you te balioti manger, because you te pay un titi ke bay maman pour mener aller en côté. You can wipo she jodia. Pour dire yo ki fay, ek yo ki fay ge gold medal la because of tibay la yo me balia. That is what angered me when I heard these type of things. Because as a parent, I also understand what these children have to go through. When you look at the stories of some of the athletes, Andre, who won medals, and the sacrifices some of them had to make. You mean to tell, you see any other politician anywhere taking glory for that? You saw that anywhere else but in St. Lucia? Leo Clark, Richard Frederick, Philip J. Pierre, all of y'all should be ashamed. Y'all should be ashamed. And why do I put Philip J. Pierre in it? Because when Leo Clark made that statement and when Richard Frederick made those statements, Philip J. Pierre was right there in the room at the podium of that youth conference. Never once did he stop and say, cool down. No, don't say those kind of things. And when he himself went and addressed, he didn't even refute that and say, okay, guys, we're not politicizing. I'm just happy, etc., etc. So they're all part of it, Andre. All of them. Reproaching the little child. All right? And to say, I'm going to talk about St. Lucia. I don't ask. I mean, people have their things and their types. But I'm asking y'all, you see tonight, y'all should be booing Richard or should not even go and listen to his disgusting show tonight because the show is going to be about what Labour Party, quote unquote, and what Sean Edward and what Richard and what everybody did for Julien Alfred. Reproaching the child. They should be embarrassed. They should be embarrassed for you to come on national television to talk about what you did for Julien Alfred today because she's won gold medal. She did it because of all of us. Andre, I know so many people who contributed to the life of Julien because things was a little rough and it was a little tight. You understand? I know so many people who contributed. And what these people will have to say, Moiki Faye, because of me, Julien won gold. I mean, come on, St. Lucia. Come on. You understand? Come on. And Sean Edwards talks about a little $150 stipend that he was giving to Julien and how UWP moved that stipend. And we debunked that and we spoke about that. But St. Lucia, I want to ask you all a question.
But hold on a second. You say you debunked it?
On the show with Alan, remember when we spoke about the fact that there was a stipend that Sean was giving Julien from, there was something called a minister's account. It was a personal account he had asked the lottery to set aside for him personally to be able to give and to do stuff. He sent a letter and a memo to that effect. We've shown that before. He wrote to national lotteries and say, national lotteries, you have your own account given to Youth and Sports Development, but I want a separate account called the minister's account. I want a separate account. I want that account to be my account and I want X amount of money in that account so that I can give when people come to me, ask for stuff and I can give. And from that account is what he was giving Julien, the 150 stipend. All right? And when we came in, Edmund Estefan, who was the Minister of Sports, said, listen, I don't know account in my name. I don't know nobody's money. I don't want to account for nobody's money. Let lottery account for that money. So just close that account. I don't want nothing to do with it. So when the account was closed, it meant that the stipend Julien was receiving deceased. And so what happened, the Olympic Committee took over, which Fortuna spoke about as well. They started giving her the stipend. And when we resume and resolve the issue from National Lotteries through the Athletics Association, Julien was being given $1,500 every month, which is a lot more than $150. But I want to ask you all that. $150. A young lady who's not in St. Lucia, she's not at her home, she's in Jamaica, and I can tell you the cost of living in Jamaica is very high. All right? So you think 150 was able to sustain her for 1 month at school? You think 150 was able to buy her meals for the whole month? You think 150 was able to buy her books for her to go to school? You think 150 was able to get uniforms for her and shoes and track shoes and training gears for her for the 150? You think 150 was able to buy snacks when she feel like getting a little snack or whatever, was able to buy that for her? You think 150 was able to pay transportation for her? What about contingency if she had a little emergency? She need to buy sanitary napkins or a little something. You think 150 was able to do all of that? And you want to come on national television, you want to go in parliament and boast about $150 that you was giving to Julien? You should be ashamed of yourself, Sean. Shameful people. So hot. You want to come and talk about 150 and say UWP stop 150. Messieurs, maman, simplicité, moi douce. Bon matin, moi fâché, vous savez. Oui, bon matin, moi fâché. Because l'enatan magique a parlé. L'enatan mam gouvernement qui supposé connaître mais ka vini et qui ka parler magie about Julien, c'est ça yo fait by Julien, yo te ka bay 150, yo bali $250,000, yo bali bay messieurs moun pas supposé oui pocher moun et gouvernement encore pas supposé oui pocher moun pour bagay yo fait ba ou le yo gouvernement. And that is why I have defied Alan Chasney. You realize Alan Chasney has not come back. Andre, if I sit there and I tell you the things that Alan Chasney has done for that young lady and her family, Munka is just surprised. But no pakosa. Whatever it is, Bible Adi, whatever it is that your right hand do, don't let the left hand know. Julien knows. Julien's family knows. Julien's mother knows. Those who know, and leave it at that. God is going to bless Alan Chasney for whatever he has done and all that he has done for Julien, and we'll leave it like that. But let Labour Party talk about 150. According $150, kamene tout bagay take a fait tout by Julien. Ask about the other people that contributed towards her throughout the month. Ask about my friend Amy, I want to call him my good friend Twatine, but he's my enemy politically. We always talk in political debates, but we're good friends, we're buddies. Ask about the sacrifices and when Twatine had to go up and down begging different people. I can tell you the stories, because I know them. Twatine and I talk at length. You understand? He used to go around begging different people for different stuff for her when she needs to go places and different things and whatever. You think that 150 was enough, Sean and Richard, and you want to talk crap about 150 that you all used to give Julien, etc., etc. So hot. Anyway, let me say, Miss Alfred, congratulations. I want to say to her mother, who was always there for her, praying for her, supporting her, doing whatever it is that she could for her baby girl. I want to say to you, well done, mommy. Well done. Bodye beniou, ek bodye kay kotine beniou, ek bodye kay kotine beni ishua ek tifiwe, tout les nama mayuni. God bless you. The hard work has paid off. The discipline, the structure, all the things that she did. You understand? It has paid off today. And do not allow, my lady, those shameless and senseless politicians like Richard and Leo Clark and Philip J. Pierre and Sean Edward. Don't let these shameless people take any credit for the hard work and effort that your daughter has put into her success today. And I am so grateful that when I listen to her, she's very humble. She has never said it was all me. You understand, Andre? She's never said I did it all myself. Like was the song I did it all on my own, my way. She never said that. She's always said she's grateful for her coaches, her people back in St. Lucia, for governments. She's always said that she shares a sense of gratefulness to all these people who has contributed to, her success. and I'm so loving that young lady, you know. When we were in government and I met her a couple of times, Alan loved her as well. Oh my God, when he couldn't, every meeting, everywhere we went, he would say, and Julien was not so successful yet, but she was getting ready. In fact, when she was getting ready to go to Texas University, and she came home from Jamaica, and he had a chat with her. I remember at the time we had just signed the agreement with Ojo Labs. And the guys from Ojo Labs, they are from Texas. And Alan ensured that he put her in touch with them so that they could liaise and connect and ensure that, you know, when she goes over, she would be settled. There would be some people, you know, looking out for her, etc. And he loved that child so much. Everywhere we went, he would be talking about, so let me tell you about Julien. Do you see this disciplined child? And she knows what she wants, etc. And so forth. And she's a very easy child to love. Andre, have you ever met her?
No, I haven't. No.
If you ever meet her, it is so easy to fall in love with her. So easy.
Yeah.
Because she's just humble. She's just to the ground. She's unique. She's smart. She's very smart. She has a beautiful smile. I mean, I look at her and I'm like, that's my baby girl, you know. And that's how a lot of St. Lucians feel about Julien as well, and her success, you know, that and it's an inspiration. I can certainly tell you, St. Lucia, I give a little joke. I say, everybody who needs sponsorship for athletes and athletics, you have 1 month, because St. Lucians have short memory, just so you know. You have 1 month to go around to corporate St. Lucia looking for sponsorship for these children, ask for everything that you can get, sports club, administrators of sports club, youth and sports club, athletes, etc., parents. You all have 1 month to go around asking corporate St. Lucia for sponsorship on basking on that success of Julien. Go around, ask for sponsorship. You will get everything you all want. Because right now everybody is saying, oh, we can have another Julien, and I'm so happy for that as well. That is what it is, that she's able to motivate younger ones and motivate the public. I'm hoping that should be able to motivate corporate St. Lucia, because from experience I can tell you, my daughter was supposed to participate in a meet in Jamaica before she went to school in Jamaica, and I made a few calls, call a few friends, and thankfully quite a few of them. My good friend Claudius Francis, that's my main sponsor. She loves my daughter to death, but made some calls, and you got through with some people. They give you a little kakada. Some people tell you things are really tight, etc. But I'm saying to you now, St. Lucia, the coffers are open. Things are not really tight right now because of Julien Alfred. So go out and get sponsorship for those young children. Let's create some more Julien Alfred. Let's create some track athletes, etc. To be successful. Yeah.
Can you explain to me and maybe hopefully the listeners who don't know? I was just thinking, you said earlier that she was young and just starting off and so on. She wasn't really known, right, in terms of her prowess as a sprinter. So I was just wondering, what was the thinking behind the 150 at that time? You said she was in...
So what happened is, when we came into government, I was on the board of national lotteries. And what we found out, that the Ministry of Youth and Sports, so I want you to understand that the Department of Youth and Sports, the budget for youth and sports activities, all the association, boxing, athletics, swimming, etc., the entire budget came from the national lotteries, because that's what the act says as well. National Lotteries Authority was instituted so that the money that would be made from your gambling, your lottery, etc., all of that goes to the Lotteries Authority, and these monies are supposed to use for the development of youth and sports in St. Lucia. So the budget from the Department of Youth and Sport, the annual government budget, it only went to pay salaries of the staff and officers and people like that and into that. But all the activities you saw, uniforms and medals and all kinds of things, were paid by National Lotteries Authority. And so under the National Lotteries Authority as well, the ministry had something what they call Elite and Upcoming Athlete Program. So what they did was they identified young upcoming athletes, whether it was in football, whether it was in athletics, in cricket, etc. They identified them, and in order to assist them to go to training perhaps, or with their gears or whatever, they used to give them a monthly stipend to be able to sustain them. So people like Julien, and I think way back we had people like Makiba, a whole bunch of athletes, I can't remember the names now, but all those athletes fell under those type, what we call the elite athlete program. And so again, St. Lucia, I want you to understand, it was not only Julien who was getting a stipend. There were quite a few athletes. There were one or two athletes who were in Jamaica. You had athletes who were overseas. There's this football program that was also happening. I forgot the name of it, but there was these foreign people who used to come and recruit young footballers to take them back to go to school. It has a name. I forgot the name. Somebody will remind me of the name. All these athletes were, they were getting the stipend as well. So it was not only Julien. But what happened is that I suppose with Sean Edward, maybe he wanted the glory for himself. I don't know. I don't understand why. But the money could have easily been paid, or it was being paid, actually. It was being paid by the National Lotteries Authority. But when he instituted that minister's, quote-unquote, minister's account, where he wanted to be able to dish out money to different people and institutions when they came to him personally. And I still don't understand the rationale, Andre, because if people come to you and say, Minister, I need some help for my daughter, she needs some track shoes on whatever. There's nothing that you write a note and say, no problem, I'll give you a little note, take that to National Lotteries Authority, and they will give you the assistance. Why did you need an account that you were the one dishing out when people came to you personally, that you would give people personal things? So why? You see the mindset of politicians, Andre, to say it is I who did it, I who gave it to them, I, the I factor. You understand? And so that is how he ended up having that on that account, sending the monthly stipend to Julien. But the instructions could have easily been given for National Lotteries to give an extra or an addition, etc. and so forth. And that's why when we came in as a board, we said, and the minister said, I want nothing to do with that. We said, $150 per for a year, Andre. What is $150? You understand? And so we made an across-the-board policy that we gave to those elite athletes $1,500 every month to contribute to the upkeep, to their training, to their food, etc., etc., etc. So that's how this thing came about and how the money was ended up. I am hoping, I still think today, maybe that young people are still receiving that money, but here's the concern, and hence the reason, St. Lucia, we raised that concern about that $80 million loan that the National Lotteries is undertaking and they have to repay. Because when you look at the calculation, Andre, National Lotteries take in per month approximately between $700,000 to $800,000 a month, right? That's what they take in from lottery gains, etc. And these monies would now be then dished out to Athletics Association, Football Association, the Sports Academy that we created, boxing. So everybody would send little letters to lotteries to say, we want to sponsor that, sponsor this, sponsor that. Now that they've taken that $80 million loan, we now understand that all of that $800,000 goes towards the loan repayment. So National Lotteries now have no money to assist youth and sports. So Mwevleton kisa government ID, because they tell big it up, Julien, we're going to now increase resources to youth and sports. Resources to youth and sports, one of the things I learned, Andre, from being on the board. The facilities are okay, build a stadium, that's fine. Maintenance of the stadium costs money. Cutting the grass costs money, which is why we were trying to bring in those artificial turf to reduce on the maintenance as well. Coaching costs money. The athletes cost money. You need to buy shoes for the athletes. You need to buy uniform for them. You need to give them little every day after training. They need to eat properly. All these things cost money. Traveling overseas costs money. You understand? Participating in meets costs money. Executing a sports meet costs money. All these monies used to come from National Lottery because government patent pesla a budget you fund sports. As a matter of fact, when we showed you the budget, we showed you that if you look at annually government gives stipend or whatever you call it, submissions to various agencies. Never in the history of national lotteries has government been given lotteries money. But because now there is going to be a shortfall, national lotteries pan pièce l'argent. All the money is now going towards the payment of the loan. Government is going to give them an annual subvention of $1 million. All right? So I want the government to explain that to us, Don't think I have forgotten about that. Okay? I want the government to explain that to the St. Lucian public, the $800,000 lotteries used to have, that they were able to sponsor all the sporting associations for different meets, etc. Where is that money going to come from now? Where is boxing going to get money to help the boxers to go to Guyana and wherever to pay? Where is athletics going to get money to buy spikes and shoes and help those young emerging athletes? Where is the 1,500 we used to give them going to come from now? I want them to answer that, but that's for another show. Today is about Julien, and I'm very happy that you asked me how that stipend came about. It wasn't something that was new. It was something that was instituted. We got there, we continued, etc. And that was more or less just to help the athletes, if they have to pay transportation to go training, they have to buy a little vitamins and little things like that, just to help them. It's not all, and it wasn't much, but at least it was a little contribution.
But these were taxpayer dollars, right? So, can you also explain how was Darren Sammy part of that?
I don't know, because when we came into the place, Sammy would have been. I think Sammy was almost out of cricket already, almost out of cricket when we came into the play. Sammy had already started coaching and doing everything else. Okay. So I don't know why and what is the rationale for Leo Clark to say that Darren Sammy is a product of the St. Lucia Labour Party. I don't know what support any Labour Party quote-unquote government may have given to Darren Sammy. And that's why I say, Clara, you always watching my show, so I'm going to check on the live to see if you are there. I don't want to say yes or no, but I don't know what Labour Party did. But even if they did, I can certainly guarantee you, Andre, it would have been either under the remits of an institution like the lottery or the Department of Youth and Sports. So it's not Labour Party money. C'est pas l'argent les baïté. C'est pas l'argent qui sort en poche Leo Clark, mais sort en poche Kenny Anthony, il était premier ministre. C'est l'argent gouvernement, l'argent taxpayer, il a servi pour aider ces jeunes moun ça. So aujourd'hui, jou les of levin oui poche ces mamay là. Pour ti ba la zo fait ba yo avec l'argent nous même, avec l'argent gouvernement. Zo supposé ni honte. You understand, Andre? Come on. It's not your money. It was government's money. It was taxpayers' money. But anyway, I think I'll spend enough time on that. St. Lucia, I do want to say, oh my God, there's so many comments. I can't read all the comments. But I do want to say thank you, Julien. I want to say congratulations again. You have paved the way. We have young Naomi London, who's also going to Texas University, same university that Julien went to. And somebody told me to remind that Julien got the scholarship. I want to remind St. Lucia for sure. Julien got the scholarship to go to University of Texas. It's not because of St. Lucia. It's because of her Jamaican, being part of the Jamaican athlete program, going for they saw her performances, etc. You understand? So it's not anything we did. It wasn't anything Alan Shastney or anybody in St. Lucia did. It was, again, as a result of Julien's hard work and her being in Jamaica. And that's what I want the government to talk about. Why do we have to send our athletes? I mean, I understand they have a very good program, trust me. And that's why I sent my daughter there. Thankfully, Andrea, I have to say, thankfully, no government support. People support, personal support. I have quite a few friends and good people who have supported. No government support. So if by the grace of God she wins Olympic or she goes to the Olympic, no politician, neither Alan Shastney or Labour Party or anybody will say it was a product of UWP or she was a product of that. Don't come and reproach my child for the little thing that you did for her. We are grateful, we are thankful, but we don't need the reproach. And that's our attitude, that's how we should go. Last week, okay? Anyway, Andre, oh look, Karen, Clara said to me, it is Darren's hard work and determination that took him where he is today. Thank you, Clara. Thank you very much. Because moi m'te kwa se Labour Party ki pou la han poche yo. Ek yo fait tout bye Sami. Ek dili yo klak palomeno issue an bouche li la ka pali se maje la Clara. Okay? Labour like to claim people achievement. That's what Clara says to me. Labour like to claim people achievement. You understand?
Can you find out? But can you find out exactly why Mr. Clark would say that? Because
I don't even want to find out, Andre. I'll tell you why. And again, if any support was given to any athlete who's doing well or who has done well, we have Michael who was also there. We have the young swimmer, Odlum, who was there. We had, is it Jean-Luc, who was doing the sailing. If any support was provided by the administration of a UWP or a Labour Party, it is distasteful and disgusting for a politician of that particular party to stand on a platform and say that these children are a product of the Labour Party or the UWP because of what the government did for these children. Because it's not your money, Andre. So whatever support you would have provided, I don't even want to find out what they did, but for me it is shameful to come on a platform and talk about it in that way. It's shameful to talk about it in that way because it is the government's responsibility and duty to assist its people. You have a responsibility.
Unless it was the Labour Party itself.
Clara just responded. Clara is Darren Sammy's mom, and they close like that, and that's why I call her and I mention her name. And Clara tell me it was Darren Sammy's hard work. Look, she says, it is Darren Sammy's hard work and determination that took him where he is today. Labour Party like to claim people achievement. You understand? Don't claim people achievement. Support them. Continue to support them, but don't claim the achievement. But Andre, enough of that. All right? St. Lucia, I want you all to boo Richard, boo Leo Clark, boo all of them. Call them shameful and they should be ashamed. They are shameless people. Shameless people. Anyway, my Juju girl, continue to shine. After she won the silver, I say, my girl, now you can go to a little club, go to a little party, have a little champagne, because they're not allowed to drink alcohol or anything like that. But go and celebrate, my girl. Go take yourself out to dinner, you, your friends, and whatever. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it, because just now you have to go back into training. You know that, right? She's only started. The moments that she would have to enjoy it is very limited because she has to continue training. And that's the thing, Andre. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop, you know. She has to continue training. She has to continue eating well. She has to continue looking after herself. And then you all want to put pressure on her, political pressure on her to say what you all did for her. Shameful people.
I think the leader of your party is on the line.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Mr. Shasney, hold on. Let me put my headphones. Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Nancy.
Hi, good morning.
And good morning, Andre.
Good morning, Mr. Opposition Leader.
Hi. I want to chime in on this conversation, but I want to really focus on one thing because Nancy has really done an excellent job in covering and updating people on issues. The greatest crime, and that's what I can call it, that has been perpetuated on the young people of our country is what has recently happened. And Nancy will understand this. The recent National Lotteries loan for $80 million that was just taken. That loan is now going to cost the National Lotteries Agency approximately $700,000 a month to repay for 15 years. Mm-hmm. Okay? So imagine, Andre, and I want your listening audience to appreciate that in the hard times that Nancy has spoken about, and I can attest to it. When I was playing basketball, nothing was given to us. We had to run sales and do all kinds of things to pay for our uniform, to pay for our airfare tickets. When we had to do tournaments, we had to put them on ourselves. And that's why I applaud what is taking place at the Aquatic Center. And the difference at the Aquatic Center is that the parents are helping to facilitate all those things, and the athletes get to focus on being an athlete. But here now, almost $700,000 a month, Andre, not a year, a month for 15 years is now to go and pay back a loan. And we have to ask ourselves, where did the $80 million go? So don't just callously say, oh, we put the money into Darren Sammy Stadium and it's because of that Darren Sammy did well. You know, and Nancy, you know this, the Soufriere track, which is a world-class track, and the company that did it is the same company that did the Olympics and all the major sporting track facilities around the world. 3 years has gone by, and they still have not gotten it certified. So it means if we have track competitions on that track, none of the times will count towards the international scores.
And that's why they always have it at the stadium. Whenever it has to go towards accreditation, they go back to the stadium.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And what are they doing in Soufriere? FETs. And my understanding is parts of the track have already been damaged.
Of course. We saw the
pictures.
Don't
come here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So don't come here and tell me nonsense about you caring about anybody. When we did the Grosley Academy was to take the best athletes and to put them in an environment in which they can focus on their skill sets and still be going to school. You come into government, you decide you're going to take away the money from it instead of improving it. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden you want to come and talk about these things. So I just want to say to you that this country should be outraged that $700,000 a month, and think of what $700,000 a month can do. And Nancy, you can tell them how much money goes into the youth councils in each of the zones and the constituencies. 1 month of the $700,000 pays for everybody. 1 month, far less 15 years. 15 years. And I want to make it very clear. When we were in government and the Labour Party complained about Don Lockerbie and tried to make it out to believe that Don Lockerbie was getting $33 million. First of all, it was not Don Lockerbie. It was a company that Don Lockerbie worked for that got a contract, a consultancy fee for about $1.5 million, 2 million EC dollars. The rest of the money went into the Soufriere field, which you can see for yourself, the Terraceau field with the lights, the Miku field, the Denry field, and the Grosley Academy. Where has the $80 million gone?
Anyway, we'll have an entire show about that political leader in terms of the $80 million. And like I said earlier on, I will go into detail because I have a lot more information in terms of the sporting organizations, the monies that we used to give them on a monthly basis, the various amounts. I have all the records. And I will be sitting down because I'm waiting to hear what is it the government, when Julian returns, I'm waiting to hear what the government will be doing for the development of youth and sports in this country. They asked the Prime Minister the question, and I heard him talk about the facilities and the upgrading facilities. So I'm waiting to hear the specifics because I can certainly tell you from that perspective, I'm very knowledgeable about it, and we will be going a lot more in depth about it.
Well, let me thinking in advance. The government is going to interpret naming a street or naming a building or creating a holiday and celebrating Julian as a contribution.
Yes.
Julian's achievement needs to be an inspiration for all of us. Mm-hmm. It needs to say, you know what, wow, a solution who's given the right opportunities and the right environment, right, can achieve world class, because there's nothing more prestigious than winning the 100 meters or medaling in the 200 meters, because she's the only track athlete that won 2 medals at this Olympics so far. But the 100 and the 200 come with tremendous prestige. Mm-hmm. We saw it because St. Lucia from a Google was second only to United States of America on Google during Paris. Persons who never knew where St. Lucia was. Mm-hmm. What is the doors that she's going to open up, Nancy? St. Lucian athletes that could apply to different colleges in the States were never recognized. Mm-hmm. Now, all of a sudden, when they apply, they go, oh, St. Lucia.
Oh, St. Lucia, Julien Alfred. Okay, that's another potential. So lots more opportunities for them.
And they're going to look at them. Okay? So that is what we need to be building on. And then, therefore, things like the academy, fixing up the facilities, getting a club program going on in St. Lucia and having them properly funded. So United Workers' Party funded the capital investment of developing sports with the Taiwanese money, grant money, and was using all of the national lottery monies to support the programs. That's where it's supposed to go. Very clear distinction. You don't take NLA money now to go and take a loan to develop the capital works and for the capital works. Anyway, I leave you, Nancy. I know you're, and again, Andrew, thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Opposition Leader.
Thank you, political leader. And I am, as I said to you earlier, Andrew, this is something that I know that the political leader is very passionate about. This is a young lady. I mean, I have seen him passionate about other young people in this country, but when it comes to Julien, he's very sensitive. It's almost like a daughter to him about Julien, and that is why, again, I don't know if you recall, when she went to her first international meet, was it about a year or 2 years ago, and she was representing St. Lucia, and there was some, whatever it is they said, apparently team manager was already there at hotel and everything, but her uniform was lost or somewhere she came and she had to run in black. And I can certainly say to you, I know Alan doesn't mind me saying that, but Alan was the one who called the same Don Lockerbie that they were complaining about and said, listen, we have an athlete here, this, that, and the other, and we will and get her some uniform, spikes, and clothing, and etc., to get her to the run. I don't know if y'all remember that, St. Lucia? Ma oublié. Y'all remember that? Where was the uniform at the time? She was already performing at an international. Labour Party was in government, and they couldn't have uniform for her. And it was the same Alan Chasney that had to make a call to get some people. And I recall when he said to me, you know, the Nike store was closed already, and they had to call the people, and they opened the store for him to go and get this, that. That's connections. That's what you have. That's what you do for your people. But he's not going to talk about that. You understand? He's not going to talk about that. But that's how you show people that you care. In times of distress, you pull out all the stops, Andre, and you do what you have to do. So she was competing without uniform. Me say team manager yo te hala, yo te han hotel yo kama hek bwe, me uniform Julien Batila. Yo dia buy about it delayed, yo te voiki man, yeah, this whatever story they gave. You understand? So don't come today and try and show as if it's today you care about Julien. You understand? But I don't want to really talk about that too much, honestly. But St. Lucia, y'all know better. Young people, y'all know better. And let me tell you something, I can guarantee y'all, I can say to y'all, without any fear, the United Workers' Party that I am a part of, we care about young people, and we will do everything we can to support you as young people. But I can guarantee you we will never stand on a platform and beat our hands on our chests and give a breakdown of one by one of what we have done for you to help you to get to where you are today, because that's not who we are. No pa awi po show. No ka fe sa nou ni pou fe ba ou ek la han peyi ya. Ek la han taxpayers pou m'elive ou pou mene ou monte. Men nou pa awi po show pou sa nou ha fe ya. Kite le ba awi po show toujou. Andre, it's we're running out of time. It's 10 o'clock. And I want to take some calls. I know a lot of people are happy that I am back. And again, thank you so much, political leader, for reminding us again about, you know, the monies and the infrastructure, as I said earlier on today. But we'll delve into that. I'll do an entire show with it, Andre.
You have a call, by the way.
Oh, I'm not going to take some calls right now.
Not yet. Okay.
Just let me go quickly into healthcare, and then I will open up the lines. Hopefully, I should be finished by 10:30. So we'll have about half an hour of calls. Caller, my apologies. Let me just quickly go because this is troubling my mind, Andre. Let's talk about healthcare in this country. And I want to start off again, like I said, and here I am acknowledging that the issues...
Sorry to disturb you. The calls are coming, but please announce that we're taking the calls
callers
at 10:30.
We're going to start taking the calls at 10:30. If you don't mind, please allow me to go into the healthcare situation. I just want to address it, and then we will open the lines around 10:30. So just, if you don't mind, just give me that little bit of time to get into that. And like I said, there's so much to talk about. We're not going to talk about all of them. I just want to close off the issue with Julien, and let's talk about healthcare, and then we'll take some calls. So, Andre, I mean, you and I are both St. Lucians. The issues within the health sector didn't start yesterday. All right, so I'm not going to lay all the blame on this Labour Party administration. And it didn't start during the administration of Alan Chasney, because when we came in, we inherited a mess. All right, and it didn't start on the previous Kenny and Tony administration. So it's been a long-standing issue, and we've just not been able to get it right. But what I can say to you is
When you say
different.
get it right, what do you mean?
Fixing our healthcare situation once and for all. And I don't know that any administration can fix it to the extent, because everywhere in the world, people are complaining about healthcare. You go in the United States, one of the reasons the new Labour Party won the British elections, I don't know if you were following those elections, it was because of healthcare. They had this long wait. People have to wait months before they can see a doctor under the plan, etc. and so forth. So healthcare is an issue wherever it is you go around the world. So St. Lucia is not unique in that. However, what I can say to you, the difference in policy directions of administrations alleviate a lot of the issues that you would have in healthcare. All right, so I am not saying that everything that is happening today within healthcare is as a result of Philip J. Pierre and Musa. However, I can say to you, based on the letter that was written by the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association, like she expressed, have you seen the letter, Andre?
Well, I saw part of it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll send you the entire letter, Andre.
Okay.
But as she expressed in that letter, it has never been so before in St. Lucia. All right? So that seems to say and seems to suggest, Andre, bagay movie. It's really, really, really bad. So when we came into office, I want St. Lucians to remember that the OKEU hospital was closed. You all remember that, St. Lucia? The Labour Party under Kenny Anthony, you all remember they had a naming ceremony where they spent almost $100,000 to name the hospital, put up a sign. They invited the European Union and all these people, and they had a nice naming ceremony. Ex-Ayofe, your family hospital like Yokitela. You all remember that? All the equipment at the hospital was rotting away. Some of the equipment that was not used when we came into government, Andre, because when we came in and we tried to find out what's going on, why is the hospital closed? There was no commissioning, no money allocated, and the hospital had equipment in there. Do you know that, Andre? They had extra machines in there, but because of the heat and the storage, some of the parts went bad. They had all kinds of equipment in there. We lost the warranty on some of those equipment, because you had to use them within a time frame, and if any issues, so because it was not used, you didn't use it, you lose your warranty, parts gone bad, and you have to try and source the parts. I remember, oh my God. And so the stories I can tell you about that. But we couldn't operate some of the equipment. Extra machines, they were stored in the facility in the heat. The AC was not on, the AC was not working, and then we had some problems to source some of the spare parts for those equipment. Andre, I remember there was one company that had closed down for particular equipment that was there, and they were trying to get an alternative part, another company, to see if we can get another part to fit in. Problems, setlisi, problems kitela. Let nous try over OKEU hospital. And so I recall when then Prime Minister Alan Shasney said, okay, if we have a little time and we want to open the hospital, looking at the systems and the structure that is happening within healthcare, why don't we, because you want to go into a new facility with a new mindset, a new structure. If you take the old mindset of people, Andre, the old structure, and you put it into a new structure, in 2 weeks' time, new structure will break down the same way. Don't we agree? And so hence the reason we went to Cayman Health City and do the consultancy with them to try and help to put a new structure in place so that we could transition into a new hospital, new structure, new mindset, new operating procedures, new way of doing things to do it better. And that was the rationale for us going to Cayman Health City and bringing them in as consultants to be able to operate OKEU. Anyways, you know the story behind that.
No, we don't.
Oh, I'll give you the story another day because we don't have a lot of time. But suffice to say, when Labour Party came in, they just scrapped the thing, they paid off the people, and they have not implemented any of the recommendations that Cayman Health City put in place. In fact, when they came in, the first thing they did, they fired the people who were there. I don't know if you remember a young lady by the name, I don't want to put her in the soaps, but her name is Siobhan James. She used to be the manager for Digicel. Very intelligent young lady. She was the then CEO at OKEU. When Labour Party came in, either terminated her contract or didn't renew her contract or something like that. Bright St. Lucian girl. I think she's somewhere up in Caymans or somewhere running a company right now. You understand? But they remove all the St. Lucian. We had Dr. Lisa Charles. I think she's She was in charge of operations and so forth, etc. Very smart young lady that we worked with as well. They remove all of them, all right? They fired the board, removed the board, and they bring in their own people. They brought in a Trinidadian to manage, and today we have the problems that we are having, all right? So, St. Lucia, I can say to you, when we were in government, I did not hear any stories of us not having bed sheets and basic medication. And I have to say thank you very much to Mary Isaac. Mary Isaac was one determined lady to ensure that she brought healthcare to the optimum as much as possible. And she was fighting every day, ensuring that under her watch, that at least we had some better healthcare happening in St. Lucia. It wasn't perfect, St. Lucia. Mun still take a more, but I still take a fair to serve. But I think it was much better than what we had inherited. And so Musa was on the radio talking every single day, Andre. You remember that? Tous les jours Musa ka parle. Right now he's the Minister of Health, of course. Silence. There were dogs running in the hospital. Did you hear anything from Musa about that? No? You remember there were goats in the hospital? They showed pictures of goats and everything in the St. Jude's hospital. Did you hear anything from Musa about that? Do you remember Musa used to have and say, people are dying in the hospital? Today, more people are dying. In fact, you hear stories of people dying at OKEU on the floor in the ER. You hear anything from Musa? Shortage of bed sheets in the hospital. You hear anything from Musa, St. Lucia? There's no toilet paper. Monsieur, SNS ni toilet paper 50 cents. Ovle di mwen Ministry of Health so pa hapon la han. E ka ge toilet paper SNS pou me an l'hôpital. Ou ka di mwen l'hôpital. Komoun le yo a yon toilet la pa ni toilet paper. Okay? Ek Minister Musa pa ka di an. There's no water. Do you realize that there was no water at OKEU, Andre? You heard that story? And I can tell you that my son takes dialysis there. Not drinking water, Andre. Tap water, no water. No water to wash your hands, no water to sanitize in a hospital. And you heard nothing about that. Okay? Ou patana yin about ça. Même se mouna ki te ka pale do about healthcare. Ochol manjo dia. Moussa pa pale yin about healthcare. Moun pa amol l'hôpital anko. Alright? Shameless people. But let me tell you something. I want you to play the tape of Richard Frederick for me. And here's what Richard Frederick had to say. And I have to say something. St. Lucia, let me tell you. Who's the Prime Minister of St. Lucia? Not Philippe J. Pierre. Who's the minister responsible for health in St. Lucia? Not Moses Musa Jean-Baptiste. I mean, Andre, I saw that tape. I laughed so much. You know when Richard came and he took the mic at that youth conference, that same tape you're going to play, it's not in that one, but when he took the mic, you know what he said? He said, Kenny, my boy, Pip, my boy. Can you imagine Richard Frederick calling a former prime minister and a current prime minister at a youth conference, you know, where you have young people, where you are going to now elect young people. All right? And at a youth conference calling Kenny and Pip my boy. Such shameful and disrespectful man. The man has no class. None. You all saw it, St. Lucia? I'm sure some of you all saw it. My boy. And by the way, Andre, I mean, I digress a little bit, but I am told that the new youth president for the St. Lucia Labour Party is he the deputy president or deputy secretary or something for the CSA? Have you heard that?
No.
Do your research. He's a public servant and he is part of the executive of the CSA. And so I'm asking again, I mean, I know the answer, but is it okay for public servants to hold political positions publicly? Because if it's okay for one set, it's okay for all set. So the UWP people that are in hiding, that y'all want to take a position on your executive in your constituency, and y'all afraid, if that young man, if that young man can take a position as the president of the SLPYO, and he's part of the executive of the CSA, that's the Civil Service Association, that's the union for civil servants. Civil servants, I want you all to watch your bread. Are you all okay with that? Are Are y'all okay with somebody that y'all went out and voted and elected to be part of your union to stand up against this government for you, looking out for your rights and everything like that? But he's the president of the St. Lucia Youth Organization. Who do you think his interest lies with? Just a question for you. Anyway, let's get to Richard Frederick and let's get to the letter because we have to open up the line. So play the tip for me, please, Andre.
After all of that is done, Zelev of Flabo will write a letter undermining the work that we are doing in improving healthcare in this country.
Somebody gave me the name of the young man. They say his name is Nikolai Lansiko. All right. I hope I got it correct. Or Nicholas Lansiko, one of those. But, Andre, so Dr. Merle Clark, who's the president.
You better Creole than me. What is a Zelev? What is that?
I'll explain. I'll explain. And I don't want to single out Merle Clark because you see, again, Merle Clark is not acting on her own. St. Lucia, I want you all to understand that. So Larry Chud Kouye, Madame la Zelev Flambeau, the lady is not acting on. She is the president of the Medical and Dental Association. And the Medical and Dental Association comprises of doctors that are operating within St. Lucia who are part of the organization. And they call them consultants. They are working at OKEU. They're working at St. Jude's. They're working at health centers. They're working at the polyclinic. They work all around, the doctors in St. Lucia. And they're also private practitioners as well. They form part of what you call the Medical and Dental Association. Ek leyo we yo kapwe top fe. OKEU ek chale. Ek saki ni pou fet pa ka fet. Yo fon meeting ek yo vini ansam. Ek yo decide that ki il pou yo vont let by board of directors OKEU pou di yo saki ka lan l'hôpital yo pasa point yon ko ek yo vle yo point action ek so yo fait let sa la et puis président association a siye let la. So moi vle di Richard Frederick avant ko kouye Madame la Zelev Flabon. What is a Zelev? A Zelev is almost like what you call a party hack. You understand? That's what you calling the lady. Sa Madame la ma jeme we Merle Clark on your meeting UWP Andre.
And by the way, the letter was written to the OKEU.
The board of directors of OKEU.
Not the government.
Not the government, not the prime minister, not Richard Frederick. Mais c'est Richard qui kay pou devant li kay répondre. Pour ça moi mande qui laisse c'est li qui premier ministre be li qui ministre. Richard, ou apply pour membership Labour Party, c'est mon pas vlo en Labour Party. Ou ka fait tout petit pipi, popi, ti chien tout partout, ka répond ka di bagay ou leze, ka voler tout partout. You still pas accepté ou you pas vlo. So don't go responding to things that is outside of your purview. Stay in your section, stay in your lane. Ou pas premier ministre, ou son junior minister in the office of the prime minister, ou pas même your full minister. You have to respond to the prime minister. Don't you get it? Nobody wrote to you. You come in and call the lady Zelev Flabo. Simply say, these are the things again. Lewale, okay, you kamaro sous le bebe sous Flabo. Huh? Andrea, when you go to the hospital, is that a question? I know when they're filling out the form, they ask you your name, they ask you your date of birth, they ask you your religious affiliation, they ask you your address, they ask you your telephone number. I have never been to any institution or health institution and they ask me, are you UWP or Labour? So when people and doctors and nurses and patients go into the hospital and they are feeling the pinch, when I have a cousin of ours, Andre, she was supposed to undergo, what is it you call it, a mastectomy. She had cancer in one of her breasts and etc. For 2 days, she sat down in a chair in OKEU. 2 days she was supposed to have the surgery. I can tell you all that personally. 2 days she sat down in a chair in the ER of OKEU waiting for a bed so she could have gone and have her surgery. So moi sa dou sa. So le président Medical and Dental Association vont en lettre ek di la pani ibuprofen, la pani Panadol, la pani toilet paper. When she says in her letter that the doctors have to take money from their pocket to buy basic supplies to treat patients, ipamanti. Because Mwesa Dousa, and people have been complaining about it for months now, Andre. People call all the various talk shows and they complain. I mean, there's these people who call on Team Show, complain bitterly. There's no medication. There's a gentleman who's blind and he calls all the time when he goes to the hospital. No medication, no nothing. So let me tell you something. Anyway.
So you're saying to me that you can't complain?
You can't complain in this country. You cannot. All right? When you complain, you are being attacked as a zelev of the United Workers' Party. Moi vle mande Richard, qui sa Dr. Melclark dit en lettre là, qui menti? What is it that she says in the letter that is not true? Even the Prime Minister acknowledged on the Monday and said he acknowledged that there are issues, they're going to meet with them to try and resolve the issue. You couldn't say that? Classless, shameful man. What does that have to do with you? You're not Minister of Health. You're not Prime Minister. For you to categorize the lady. You understand? But let me tell you something. Andre, the letter before we open the line. The letter was addressed to somebody named Joanna Atherton. And she is the chairman of the board of directors of OKEU. And Joanna Atherton is a former PS. So maybe that is why they're accusing her. That's what the letter says. They're accusing her of micromanaging because it's something is a PSX manager. My lady, know your lane. The board gives policy direction. You don't interfere in the management and the operations of the hospital. That's what they are alleging. Again, their own people. Remember, they fired a CEO, you fire Tutmun, and they bring their own board. And now you have that level of interference. Andre, the letter states that senior doctors and nurses, senior, you know. Now, I'll tell you what we're losing when senior doctors and nurses experience. Because c'est gentil non c'est gentil docteur qui just sort l'école. Yo poko we comment c'est gwa mon akadi. Yo po we la vieux koui. Yo po we di fon kalte maladie. So là moun vini ak kalte maladie. De la yo po sa même diagnosis because yo pas jamais we ça avant. And so when you have senior people who would be giving advice, who have seen different things and who have experience and who can give those type of advice and stuff like that, and they are leaving because of what, that's what she says, pa mwen ki di mesye, and let la likidi. Okay? That's what she said in the letter. So I want to ask the question, Andre. I know you burning to ask a question before we open the line. St. Lucia, you all remember last year when the government went into parliament, you remember the 2.5 levy? What was the levy for, Andre? Not health and security. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the Prime Minister boasted last year that they collected, was it 17 or 18 million dollars from that health and security? And the target is 33 million dollars. Ou vle di mou ka point 18 million dollars ya koupan la han pou ay SNS gen toilet paper pou ma a toilet pou evit la? So what y'all doing if the 18 million dollars? And what are y'all doing if the money y'all have collected so far this year? There's no Panadol. Let me tell you, go at Massey. Paracetamol, Panadol, ibuprofen on the shelf. You telling me Massey have it and you telling me that doctors are complaining that they do not have Panadol. They don't have antibiotics in a hospital, a major hospital, and you put a 2.5% levy to collect taxes on the head of people. So when I told you all that, and I was in parliament and it also came there. Le mwen dizo, l'argent yo te ka collect la, se pa pou health, jote kwen mwen te menti. When you look at the budget, Andre, there was no increase in the allocation. Because if you collect in a new tax and you say it's for health, if the allocation for health last year was 20 million, then at least the allocation should be 25 million, 27 million. You understand? The allocation didn't go up. So where is the money going? The money never went there. But now they have hired all kinds of people. You need Silas St. Jude. You need Jade Brown. Mibo Martin Amoteka Kutaba. You need Onika McCoy, Communications Unit of Health. You can employ Tutmuna Communications Unit, Andre. That's where it is. They're bringing them in the communications to Mama guide you, to give you stories, to tell you things, to make you think things are happening. So they hire Trisha Lionel, Riani, Tutse Munsa. That's where the money is going. It's not going to buy toilet paper for you. It's not going to buy Panadol for you. It's not going to ensure that you pay the doctors sufficient money. The money is going to pay Mise Munsaki Zelev la region. The money is going to pay the Zelevs of the Labour Party as you put them into government. And people are suffering and dying in this country. There's no bed sheets in the hospital. Andre, we had some people down at St. Jude's and we had to bring bed sheets and pillows for them. I can tell you that. You understand? People in the aisleway in OKEU. And when we open the line, I'm sure our callers will tell you that. They launched a new diabetic campaign. You saw the ceremony last week? They launched a new campaign for diabetes, new testing, this, that, and the other. And Mel Clark tell you in her letter, why se ti ba la mese se muna yoka piche pu check glucose work level glucose la? They don't even have that in the hospital. Exoka launch a program, zoka me signs, zoka fe tout different by. Anyway, Andre, let's open the line, all right? Let's open the line to hear what our callers have to say. But St. Lucia, it is a shame what is happening in healthcare in this country. And Richard the bully, the shameless bully, is trying to bully St. Lucians into staying silent. Bravo, Medical and Dental Association. Bravo, Dr. Merle Clark. Take it, my girl. Take it. Don't worry. You're a strong woman. I wish you were a flambeau woman. But you're a strong woman. Take it, but stand up for the doctors and the medical professional. Stand up for what is right and speak out and make sure they fix it, my girl. Don't be afraid of Richard. He's just a loud-mouthed pitbull bully. He can do you nothing. Absolutely nothing. That man is shameless. But let's take some calls.
Yes, let me just give the numbers. The fixed line is 572-9710, 572-9710. WhatsApp, it is 287-0971. WhatsApp, 287-0971. We have calls on both the fixed line and WhatsApp. Let's take the first one
some calls
on the fixed line. Yes.
Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling, Miss the Opposition. Did you miss me, caller?
No, I didn't, Nancy, because you're doing so damn a good job. I want to take your job from you. So, good morning, Nancy. Good morning, Nancy.
Morning.
Oh, my
Morning.
goodness.
Morning.
Today, y'all make my day, Nancy. Seriously. Welcome back.
Thank you
back.
very much.
Nancy, remember, well, I have a daughter that's a nurse at OKU, so that's all I'm going to say. So
Lord.
everything you are saying and more,
Mm-hmm.
because people are they are being OKU is being accused right now of killing people. Usausa. Exactly. You can say because you say OKU, you must work KU because Lapaninos.
Metemorusa, Adam un kamalad caller. Eko sa yo kadi yo pavla l'hôpital yo ka sime weste yo di si yo kay mo kite yo mola kayo yo pavla l'hôpital ha.
Thank you, because lawale l'hôpital la no saka même if you have that thing in your mouth or you can't breathe it's through that thing they fill your mouth with whatever endless machine. They don't even have people to take care of cleaning your throat and your mouth.
Oh,
you can get infected. You can get infected, Nancy, and you can die from that. You understand? They have no care. They have no nurses there. Listen, you see the situation there? It's only going to get worse. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know why? These so-called ministers that we have right now in St. Lucia, whether it's male or female, excuse me, I'm living show me. Make this up. Don't talk up away. None of y'all are ready because you're not give a damn about St. Lucia. You all care about yourself because you all can't afford to take our taxpayers' money and try to Martinique, fly to Colombia, fly to the U.S. You all can't afford to do that. And we the people cannot do it. We, the voters of St. Lucia, we are the ones suffering in St. Lucia. We, the Malawi, all your good friends, you're giving big jobs to make big money alongside you people. They can afford. But we, the Malawi, we, the ones suffering, sitting down in hospitals for 20 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. And this is what we voted for. Okay, we have to look at ourselves right now and say, is that why I voted to suffer? That we have to ask ourselves this question.
Thank you, caller.
Okay?
And I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm happy
right?
that you're saying that your daughter is a nurse because here's the other thing as well. Thank you, caller. We'll take another call. But the pressure that is being put on those mega staff, Andre, can you imagine you being a nurse at that hospital and there's a shortage, you don't have proper doctors, etc. You know you on your feet 24/7 as a nurse. This is too much pressure on the medical staff.
And to compound it, we're getting the impression as though you're not supposed to complain.
You understand? You're not supposed to complain. Come on. Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling me the Opposition.
Good morning, Nancy. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good program as usual, and I want to echo the similar sentiments with you and others. Julien Alfred's achievement should have never been politicized.
Mm-hmm.
It has everything to do with Julien Alfred's hard work, her determination, her will to persevere, and we all should have should be happy collectively as St. Lucians. And it's shameful for the Labour Party, Richard Frederick and Leo Clark, to have politicized this thing. Heritage was a golden opportunity for this government, Andre. And good morning to you, Andre. Sorry.
Morning. That's all right.
And Andre would have agreed with me. Would agree with me. This is a golden opportunity for the St. Lucia Labour Party to bridge the political divide and unite the people, right? As St. Lucians. But then what did they do? Typical Labour Party, divide and rule.
Mm-hmm.
That was a opportune way of uniting the people. And Andre would agree with me. We are so politically divided in this country. It's not funny. And Julien Alfred's success should have been a way to mend that political gap as St. Lucians. When those international athletes go out there, whether it's on the Olympics or whatever, and they succeed, you don't see their political parties in their respective countries saying, oh, I was the one who did this, or I was the one who did that. Mm-hmm. They celebrate it as a country, as a people, as a nation. But here in St. Lucia, you have the St. Lucia Labour Party dividing the people. Oh, Darren Sammy is a product of the St. Lucia Labour Party.
Can you imagine that, caller? I mean, how do you look at yourself and stand on a political platform when you're addressing young people? I mean, if you want to say to those young people to emulate a young man like Darren Sammy, who came from humble beginnings through hard work and dedication, and that the government, quote unquote, of the Labour Party will support you, will help you to push you forward. I don't mind that, because that's politicians' talk. But you stand on a platform and say the man was a product of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Somebody asked me and said to me, maybe we should find out whether Ernest Hilaire, when he was at West Indies Cricket Board, maybe he was taking monies out of the kitty or paying special attention to Darren Sammy with Cricket Board money, and that's why Leo Clark is saying that. I don't know. But I mean, this is disgraceful.
Very disgraceful and sick. And you remember, this whole product narrative, you know where it came from? It came from Philippe Pierre, who when he offered the gentleman a drink, and Emma Hippolyte indicated that the gentleman supports UWP of Flabo, he said, so you're a product of Canada. So that product narrative came from Philippe Pierre. Ignorance, and now it's been echoed by Leo Clark himself. So I just want to say to St. Lucians, this is the Labour Party continues to divide people. They're not unifiers. They're not unite. They don't want to unite. They believe if they can divide the people along political lines, red and yellow, that is the only way they can remain in power by any means necessary. And we have to put a stop to that.
Yeah, thank you, Colin.
I just want to say quickly that the New York Flabo Caucus, we have in our general meeting this coming Sunday, August the 11th at 4 p.m. And the venue for the location is at 154 Utica Avenue between Prospect Place and St. Mark's. So we're encouraging all members of the New York Flabo Caucus and prospective members of the United Workers' Party, please join us at our first general meeting of the newly elected executive. And we're looking forward to seeing many United Workers' Party supporters in New York City to attend our general meeting this coming Sunday, August the 11th at 4:30 p.m.
Thank you.
Good show as usual.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And again, thank you to our various caucuses who are always on, always listening, and always supporting. We have another call, Andre?
Not as yet.
Okay, so St. Lucia, I mean, I read the letter again, and can you imagine? The letter is saying that, Andre, if you go there and you're not feeling too well and your heart is beating a little way, they have an EKG machine, but she says in the letter that they do not have paper to print from the EKG machine. So that machine, they put your heartbeat and everything, and it's doing tiki tiki tiki. This sounds like a fair. I mean, can you imagine la pan papier pour print from EKG machine? Avete. C'est Lucia. Moi vle hele avete. Moi pas même ça pour faire. I mean, so if you sick, we have another call.
Yes, we do.
But if you sick and you go, they can even do an EKG for you to check your heartbeat and monitor what's going on. So okay, mola.
And not just that too, you can't complain. So how would they know what is needed at the hospital?
Point. Just sit down. Caller, thank you so much. Good morning. Thank you for calling me the opposition.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. Before I say anything, usually when I call a show, people might think I'm a lady, but I'm a male. Okay, I have this different intonation, and sometimes I know it creates a little bit of concern for some people. So what I want to say this morning is, I usually go to the hospital. I have a brother who has a mental problem, and sometimes I have to go to wellness. Even I myself, because of all the attention I've been taking with him, I have to go for counseling.
Right.
So I was exposed to a lot of social workers. I've been exposed to a lot of counselors as well. One of my concerns, sometimes when you go to the hospital, the doctor, one of the doctors, the lady at the there, she said to me, but when you come here, you have to stay there for the whole day. So when you go there, sometimes in the night, if you get sick, I have to call the ambulance. So when you go to the hospital, it's like we have to stay there the whole day till next day. Another problem I realize is that sometimes you find that people come to the hospital, they are loners. So you find that they have nobody to take care of them. They have nobody home to help them, especially even elderly, anybody for that matter. So I had an experience where my brother, he had a diarrhea, a really bad diarrhea, and I went to the toilet. When I went to the toilet, there was this elderly man at the toilet, on the toilet seat. He was short, he was dark, and he was struggling to put his pants. He was unkept. He was really unkept, and he was really struggling. So what I did, I had to flush the toilet because I'm going back and forth with my brother.
Right.
I'm back and forth. So I had to flush the toilet for him, make sure I put his pants up for him, and so then he got that done, and then he continued. But the sad thing is, he was all alone, and then he had a tube. He had a tube to pee, because he had a tube to pee, so he could not really.
They call it a catheter.
Yeah, catheter. And so that is a major concern I realize at the hospital, because sometimes the people.
So caller, you saying there's no I think they call them orderlies or whatever it is they call them. So you're saying that there's no even orderlies at the hospital to help people like that, to take them to the washroom, to assist them, and to bring them back. But yet still, caller, your government is collecting 2.5% tax on you on every product that you purchase in the supermarket. You're paying that money. And they said that it was going to go towards healthcare in this country. And today, we don't have toilet paper. I mean, thank you, caller. Thank you so much for calling. And St. Lucia, in case you think I'm saying my own thing, I am going to read page 1 of the letter. It says, while we wait for another call, how are physicians expected to make critical life and death decisions in a patient with presumed myocardial infarct or heart attack without? So if somebody's coming in with a heart attack, Andre, how are we supposed to make a decision without basic things like EKG, ECGs, whether it be due to the lack of ECG paper or not enough functioning ECG machines? You understand?
You have a call.
Okay, we have another call. Caller, thank you. Good morning. Thank you for calling me the opposition.
Hello, good morning, Auntie. Good morning, Andre.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Very interesting eye-opening program today. But I would like to ask Mr. Paul if by any chance that is open to criticism before I say anything.
If who's open to criticism?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't understand.
If who is open to criticism, caller?
No, Andre as the host. Andre as the host.
I'm not the host.
Well, Andre is not the host. This is my program. It's Meet the Opposition. I'm the host.
But as the person facilitating the whole thing, because at the end of the day,
you have a concern, caller? What's the concern?
You have a concern. Okay. My concern is that as somebody in Andre's seat, right, he needs to be able, in another show, to be able to take information he has learned from one show to the next. And I was a little disappointed when you were talking about the thing for the stipend that not the SLP, but that was provided to the athletes of 150, that you have debunked it already. on his program, on his show. He was the facilitator at the time, and he asked you again whether you had debunked it. Because
sometimes color people forget.
No,
I
understand. Nobody knows. It's something I have observed. Just let me finish. The reason I'm saying that, because if tomorrow, let's say Mr. Hille or another person is now on his program and they say something else, he'll say, "Oh, that's true." So you have to be sharp. And that's what I just want to
I understand what you're saying now, before Andre responds.
Allow me.
That was all you had?
Yes, that's all, yes. That's
okay,
all.
Thanks.
Okay, all right. You see, when I guess people are not experienced in mass communications, broadcasting, they're assuming a lot of things, okay? Even if I heard what was said at the time, it doesn't mean that today we don't have fresh listeners. It doesn't mean that there are people who are tuned in right now who have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so me as an experienced broadcaster, I know those things.
And you'll ask me the question again so I can respond to the question again. Yeah. Okay, so you understand, caller? So it may not necessarily be that Andre didn't know or remember, but he was more or less asking me the questions for new listeners and persons who probably had not heard to perhaps just give me the impetus to answer the question again a second time. All right? But thank you for sharing that so that Andre could have clarified for you. So, Andre, again, while we wait for another call, listening, I'm going to read the letter. Here again it says, there is the chronic issue of the lack of bed space that every St. Lucia knows about. Critically ill patients being managed in chairs. You heard that, Andre? Critically ill patients. So when I told you all earlier on that my cousin had to sit in a chair for 2 days waiting for a bed to go and do her surgery.
Have a call, by the way.
Okay. Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling Meet the Opposition.
Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, Andre.
Good morning, caller. Caller, did you hear what I say about critically, well, not I. Did you hear what the Medical and Dental Association said about critically ill patients being managed in chairs and emergency room physicians with no space to maneuver or treat patients? Do you hear that, caller? How do you feel?
Nancy Selana Rini.
Okay.
I am going to go back to 2020, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's say rather 2016. After Mr. Chasney came into government, they went down to the hospitals. They well monitor what was happening with our health care. They went down to St. Jude's. They did a little research and everything. That's my opposition leader, my political party, with wisdom, understanding, love in his heart for the people of St. Lucia. He realized that the health sector in St. Lucia is not working. It is not good, Nancy. We all know that. It's not a problem that just started, Nancy. This gentleman went down there. He did all his assessments. He came back. He told the people of St. Lucia that he's going to build something new for us, something better. He will give us insurance policies to help us when we are ill, Nancy. When I hear about that health crisis we are in St. Lucia, Nancy, it pains my heart.
Oh, yes.
Because I have always been saying that our people are dying uselessly. We have no help.
I believe, Kola, I believe that, and this is not an affront on the medical professional, but I believe that persons who may have died as a result of lack of either medication or proper treatment, etc., that these persons would have been alive today. I believe that there are many people in that condition. Mm-hmm.
You know how long Guy Joseph have been telling us that the dialysis department has no water in it, Nancy?
I know.
You know how long? And I saw Mr. Chasney with the goodness, the love in his heart, went down to St. Jude, bring forth a building. That building alone made a statement to St. Lucians, to tell St. Lucians that we are going to get a proper health facility with proper service.
Yeah. Anyway,
and I saw the people in authority. Hold on, Nancy, just give me a minute again.
Okay.
And I saw the elites in our society came together and fooled the ignorant people of my country, those that don't have their understanding, Nancy. And that hurt me when I saw these people. I'm saying that I'm ready to tear down. You know, fool the people and took that away from the people, and today the healthcare diminished to that of nothing, and Richard Frederick will open his mouth and try to silence the lady from speaking the truth.
So he thinks that if he calls her a Zelev Flambeau, but you see what he doesn't know, you know, I know Mel Clark, I've known her for a while. Actually, coincidentally, she's also my son's doctor because she's a nephrologist and my son is on dialysis. So I know this strong, black, St. Lucian woman that Mel Clark is, that she's not going to be moved by the name calling of Richard calling her a Zelev Flambeau. But let me tell you something. This is the attitude that we must stop in this country. And that's what, thank you, caller. We'll take another call. But that is what we must stop in this country, Andre, that what the Labour Party is doing conveniently. And that's why I agree with Guy when he says Philip Jappier is more wicked than Richard Frederick, because they are conveniently using and allowing Richard Frederick to use his talk show, his platform and his big mouth to bully people into subversion in this country, to bully people into silence in this country, to bully people into staying quiet and being afraid. Oh my God, mon Dieu, Richard, you know, that's what people say in this country. Where? Richard. Who cares? Who is afraid of Richard? I'm not afraid of Richard. Richard can take me on any day, any single day in this country. But he will not silence strong, right-thinking St. Lucian. So, Labour Party, Philip Jappier, when you are going to use Richard Frederick to try and silence and try and shame people, not these type of people, not these strong women in St. Lucia that you're going to silence. Do you have another call?
It's time to wrap up.
Okay. But I am saying to you, St. Lucia, let me read the last part as we get ready to wrap up. The last part of the letter, one of the parts, he says, many of us has worked and sacrificed tirelessly at VH, when it was VH, and OKEU for close to or more than 20 years. And we can categorically say, and let me say that again, many of us have worked, that's what the letter says, many of us have worked and sacrificed tirelessly at VH and then OKEU for close to or more than 20 years. And we can categorically say, never has it been this bad. And she highlighted it and bolded it. Never has it been this bad. St. Lucia, she says, we have always been under-resourced, understaffed, and overworked, but for its myriad of problems, there was a sense of community at VH. Staff did not feel ostracized and vilified. And that's where you come in, Andre, when you talk about when staff talk, when the doctors talk, you know what she's saying? They feel ostracized and vilified by the board of directors and the Ministry of Health in this country. St. Lucia, this must stop. St. Lucia, we have to stand up with the doctors and the nurses at the various medical institutions in this country, because l'envoie l'hôpital ek docteur a pa wè nou sav sa nou ka hele doc kote docteur la pan docteur nou ka bay se docteur ek se nos la pressure nou ka bay yo parole, because they are the ones we are seeing. And that's what she's saying in her letter as well. When the ministers le a Moussa si do office li pi han ka di Moussa ye I ka wè person, because it is the doctors and the nurses that the patients see. They are the ones that they give all the pressure to, and you'll sit in your office making decisions to the detriment of our health institutions. It must stop. So, St. Lucia, as we get ready to wrap up, let me say to you, you need to support these people. Do not allow Richard Frederick or the Labour Party to bully you into silence. Même sou se Labour, même sou se Flambeau, même sou pa pièce an yo. Là où l'hôpital, personne pas mêlé ça ou yé. Là où l'hôpital, yo pas mêlé kou se Flambeau kou se. Si ba la pas bon, di pas bon. As a matter of fact, if you're a supporter of the Labour Party, put more pressure on your government to fix what is happening in healthcare in this country, so that your government would have a better reputation. But do not allow this thing to continue, and let's not play the politics with what is happening in this country. I want to make an announcement, Andre, that the Auger Labrie constituency in Vieux Fort in the south, they're having a fundraising dinner, and Laura would kill me if I didn't make the announcement. They're having a fundraising dinner on the 17th of August in Safi. So those of you from Castries, take a line. Saturday the 17th of August. Come down south. It's an all-white dinner. You can message me if you have my number. You can call the party secretariat, or you can speak to any member of the Labrie Auger constituency branch. It's $150, I think, for single. I can't remember how much for couple. But call them up and let's do some fundraising for our United Workers Party. And St. Lucia, this weekend, I think we're going to be in Babono. We're going to have a town hall meeting in Babono as well. So please come out and support. And thank you again for your prayers, for your support. And as I said, on Meet the Opposition, whenever I'm there, I come with my facts. I come with my information. I read the letter to you. St. Lucia, let's support our Medical and Dental Association. Lawai OKEU is upon the pressure, souple. Because the doctor say no slayo mancha pressure. So pa ba yo top power. Pa di yo top baile so I l'hôpital à cette ici. Have a wonderful weekend. It's a pleasure being back. Actually, I did miss being on the show, Andre. So I'm so happy that I am back. And by the grace of God, we will continue to have some discussions. We have a lot more to talk about St. Lucia, but enjoy your weekend. Pray a blessing over your children as they leave the house and as they come back. And please, St. Lucia, be safe. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, Nancy Charles, the host of Meet the Opposition. Heard on Rev Up St. Lucia every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. So listen next week Thursday, same time, same station, 97.1 FM for another Meet the Opposition. This is the end of my stint here on Rev Up for today. Join me tomorrow morning, same time from 5 o'clock for another Wake Up and Live. We have Tony Paul coming on next. He'll be on the Rev Up Center until 3 this afternoon. From 3 until 6 is going to be Zen the DJ. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Andre Paul saying so long. Also, so long to our friends on Facebook.